Class 9, Chapter 10, Circles. This is Introduction class to circles. In this chapter, we are going to learn some fundamental properties of circles. We can call that fundamental properties as theorems of the circles. So, we are going to learn what are the theorem of the circle and we are going to prove that theorems. Before that, we should recall the terms related to circles whichever we have learned in the earlier classes. Let's do that. Circles. What is circle we know? The circle is a collection of point is at fixed distance from a fixed point makes a circles. That means here we need to take this circumference of the circle. This is, if we take, this is the center of the circle O. If you join any point on the circle, got it? So like this you can join all the points on the circle, so that we are calling it as a set of all points in a plane that is at a fixed distance from a fixed point makes a circle. So that this fixed point we are calling it as center of the circle. Got it? So the distance between any point on the circle and the center of the circle will be the radius of the circles. That radius of the circle we will denote it as letter R. Here you can see this is the plane surface. Here I have drawn one circle. This circle is divided this plane surface into three parts. This is interior of the circle and the exterior of the circle and the circle itself. Got it? Let's move on to next page. Terms related to circles. Here we are going to see some terms of the circles. First one is chord. We know what is chord. Chord is the line segment that will be lie inside the circle. That line segment ends points will be lie on the circles. Here you can see the definition is the line segment within the circle joining any 2 points on the circle is called the chord. This is the line segment AB. This line AB, A point is lie on the circle and B point also lie on the circle. If you take any 2 point on the circle and join these 2 points, you will get the chord of the circle. So here I have taken a point A and point B and then join these 2 points. I have drawn a line from A to B so that I have got a chord AB. So this is the chord. And this is the diameter. Diameter also a chord. This chord will be goes through the center of the circle. That is called the diameter. That means a chord passing through the center of the circle is called the diameter. Here C and D also a chord, but this chord goes through the center. This is the diameter and this is the longest chord of the circles. Diameter will be the longest chord of the circles. Let's move on to next page. Arc. Arc is the portion of the circles between 2 points is called an arc. Here I have taken 2 points on the circle A and B. This curve is called the arc of the circles. Here you can see one small curve is there and this side one big curve is there. So we can call it as this is the minor arc and this is the major arc. Got it? And the circumference is the length of the circles. This, if you measure the length of the circle, we will get the circumference of the circle. Let's move on to next page. Segment. A segment is a circle. Segment of the circle is the region between either of its arc and a chord. That means segment will lie inside the circle that segment is enclosed by an arc and a chord. We will call it as a region enclosed by an arc and a chord. We will call it a segment. Here, minor segment is enclosed by an minor arc and the chord AB, and the major segment is enclosed by the major arc and the chord AB. Next is sector. Sector is also a region which is enclosed by two radii and an arc. So, here you can see this is the sector, minor sector. Why it is minor sector? Because this sector is enclosed by the minor arc and two radii. And major arc is enclosed by the major arc and two radii. So that we are calling it, this one is minor sector and this is major sector. Important theorems of the circles. Hereafter we are going to learn theorems of circles and its proofs. First one is equal chords subtend equal angles at the center. Here I have drawn one circle and taken two equal chords. That means AB is equivalent to CD. The length of the chords are equal. If the length of the chords are equal, if I made an angle at the center by using these two chords, that will be equal to each other. That we need to prove. So, angle AOB is equivalent to angle COD. We need to prove this one. To prove this, I am going to take these two triangles. If I join these two point AB to the center and CD to the center, I have got two triangles. Triangle AOB and triangle COD. So, by using triangle property, first I am going to prove these two triangles are congruent to each other. So, first we'll see what are the corresponding parts. Here, OA, OB, OC and OD all are radius of the circle, we know, because this A, B, C, D are lie on the circumference of the circle. If we join any point on the circumference of the circle to the center, that will be the radius of the circle. So, in triangle AOB and in COD, OA is equivalent to OD and OB is equivalent to OC. These are the two corresponding sides of the given triangle, and the base also same. Base are the two chords of this circle. So, AB is equivalent to CD. If three sides of the triangles is equal to three sides of another triangle, then we can say these two triangles are congruent to each other by triple S congruency rule. Side, side, side congruency rule. So that I am going to say these two are equal. If these two are congruency triangle, then all the angles are corresponding parts of the congruency triangle. According to that rule, I am going to say angle AOB is equivalent to angle COD is equal according to CP CT. Corresponding parts of congruency triangles of AOB and COD. Hence, we have proved first theorem. Now, we are going to prove second theorem. To prove second theorem, I am going to use the same method, but in second theorem, what they have given, if the angles subtended by the chords of the circle at the center are equal, then prove the chords are equal. Here they have given is AOB is equivalent to angle COD. This is given in the question. We need to prove AB is equivalent to CD. For that, I am going to take triangle AOB and triangle COD. Now we'll see what are the corresponding parts of, corresponding parts of the triangles. What are the corresponding parts? As usual, if this is the center of the circle, then we can say OA is equivalent to OD, OB is equivalent to OC, because these all are radius of the circle. So OA is equivalent to OD and OB is equivalent to OC. And in a question they have given in a theorem, AOB and COD, both the angles are equal. So angle AOB is equivalent to angle COD. Now you can see these two sides and its included angle are equal. So we can prove these two triangles are equal to each other congruency by SAS rule. By SAS rule, these two are equal. If these two triangles are congruent to each other, then we can say the side AB is equivalent to CD according to CPCT. Corresponding parts of congruency triangle. Hence, we have proved the second theorem as well. Let's move on to third theorem. Theorem number 3. Perpendicular from the center to a chord bisect the chord. That means, if we draw a line from the center of the circle to the chord, if I draw a line, perpendicular line from the center to the chord, that line will bisect the chord. That means we will give some name for this point. If OP is perpendicular to AB, then OP will bisect the chord. That means AP is equivalent to BP. We need to prove AP is equivalent to PB. First, if we draw a line, perpendicular line, you can see, and then joining the point A to the center and point B to the center, we have got two triangles AOP and BOP. So we have to prove first these two triangles are congruency. After that we can prove AP is equivalent to PB. So that let's take triangle AOP and triangle BOP. Let's write the corresponding equal parts of this triangle. As we know, OA is equivalent to OB. Both are radius of the circle. And OP is common. OP is equivalent to PO. And if this is perpendicular, then this angle will be 90 degree. We know if one line is perpendicular to another line, then both the line will make a 90 degree. So that angle APO is equivalent to BPO. Both are 90 degree. We know, so we can prove these two triangles are congruency by RHS rule. In RHS rules, what are the condition? One angle should be 90 degree and the hypotenuse should be same and one side should be same. Here this is 90 degree, this angle 90 degree, and this hypotenuse of OPA is OA and OPB is OB. So these two hypotenuse are equal to each other and this side is common for both the triangles. So that according to RHS rule, we can prove these two triangles are congruent to each other. Congruency triangle. If these two are congruency, then I can say AP and PB are corresponding parts of congruency triangle. So according to that, we can prove AP is equivalent to BP. Hence, we have proved third theorem. Now we have to prove fourth theorem. See, for fourth theorem also, what is fourth theorem? A line through the center that bisect the chord is perpendicular to the chord. Here, what they have given, a line through the center to the chord. Bisecting this line is bisecting these two chords. If this line is bisecting this chord means we have to prove this OP, again we will name here OP, this OP line will be perpendicular to chord. So here in the theorem they have given AP is equivalent to PB or BP they have given. We need to prove AB is equivalent to, AB is perpendicular to OP. For this also we are going to take these two triangles. In triangle AOP and in triangle BOP, corresponding parts are equal corresponding parts. OA is equivalent to OB, radius of the circle, and as usual OP is equivalent to PO, common for both the triangle, and AP is equivalent to BP. They have given in the theorem. So according to triple S rule, because all the sides are equal to each other, according to triple S rule we can prove this is these two are congruency triangle. If these two are congruency triangle, then we can say this all the angles are equal to each other by CPCT. So according to that, I am saying angle APO is equivalent to angle BPO. These two are equal to each other, but we need to prove these two are 90 degree. How we can prove 90 degree? You can see this OP is this AB is a line and OP is line. OP is a line on the line AB. Then we can say these two are linear pair. We know the sum of linear pair would be 180 degree. So APO plus BPO is equivalent to 180 degree. Already we have proved these two are equal. So instead of BPO I can write APO. So if I write APO here, I will get 2 angle APO is equivalent to 180. From this equation I will get angle APO is equivalent to 90 degree, because this 2 will come this side division. So if you simplify you will get 90 degree. If this is 90 degree, already we know APO is equivalent to BPO. If APO is 90 degree, then BPO also 90 degree. If this is 90 degree, then we can say OP is perpendicular to AB. Hence we have proved this theorem. Let's move on to fifth theorem. Theorem number 5. Equal chords are at equal distances from the center. That means if the chords are equal, A, B and CD are two chords, both are equal length. If it is so, then the distance from the center to both the chords will be equal to each other. That means OX is equivalent to OY. Here OX is the distance from the center of the circle and the chord AB, and OY is the center of the chord and the chord CD. The distance from the center of the circle and the chord CD. These two could be equal to each other. How we can prove that? See, we need to draw a circle and take the center of the circle and then draw equal distance from the center of the circle. Draw two lines from the center. Both are equally distances, OM and ON. Now we need to draw a perpendicular line to this line OM. If we do like this, we will get a perpendicular line. If we draw a perpendicular line to OM, we will take this is AB. Now chord AB is perpendicular to OM. Again we need to draw a perpendicular line to ON as well. So we will name this as CD. Now we need to measure the perpendicular line of OM and ON. We need to measure AB and CD. If we measure, both should be equal. Both will be equal to each other. You can take some other length as well. You can increase the length or decrease this OM and ON length and then draw the perpendicular line for OM and ON. Then also you will get the chords, both the chords distance will be equal to each other. So that we are saying equal chords are at equidistance from the center. Sixth one is converse of fifth one. Chords equidistance from the center are equal. If the distance between the center of the circle and the chord both are equal, then the given chords are also equal. This theorem we will prove in the next page. Theorem number 8. Chords equidistant from the center of a circle are equal. Already in theorem number 7 we have proved equal chords will be equidistant from the center. That means if the chord AB and CD are equal, then both will be equidistant from the center of the circle. That means OS is equivalent to OT we have proved. But here we need to prove chords equidistant from the center. That means if OS and OT are equal, then the chord also equal. So to prove this theorem, we need to prove in this diagram OS is equivalent to OT. For that, I have taken this example. If two intersecting chords of a circle make an equal angles with the diameter passing through their points of intersection, prove that the chords are equal. Here, there are two chords AB and CD, both are intersect at R. Then we have drawn a diameter PQ through this intersecting point R. So these two chords are subtended an angle, equal angle with the diameter that is given in the question. Make equal angles with the diameter passing through their point of intersection. So Here in the question they have given ARQ is equivalent to DRQ. So ARQ, angle ARQ is equivalent to DRQ. They have given in the question. Now we need to prove OS is equivalent to OT. To prove that, I am going to take this triangle OSR and OTR. First I will take OSR. In triangle OSR, according to triangle sum property, I have written SOR. SOR plus OSR plus SRO is equivalent to 180 degree. So now we need to prove these two angles are equal. That means SOR is equivalent to TOR. So that I am going to keep this SOR left hand side and bring all these to right hand side. So SOR is equivalent to this 180 minus OSR. What is OSR? You can see OSR. OS is perpendicular to AB. So OSR would be 90 degree. So that I have written 90 degree minus SRO. This will come this side. SRO. That's it. By simplifying this equation, we will get 90 minus SRO. 180 minus 90 will be 90. So SOR is equivalent to 90 minus SRO. Right. SRO we can write ARQ as well. You can see this R, this S is also lie on the chord AB and O is lie on the diameter PQ. So we can write SRO as ARQ as well. So I am going to write 90 minus ARQ instead of SRO. Now you can see already in our example they have given ARQ is equivalent to DRQ. This DRQ. So I am going to write 90 minus DRQ. Right. 90 minus DRQ. So SOR is equivalent to 90 minus ARQ, that we have written 90 minus DRQ. So we can write which is equivalent to TOR. Right. If you take triangle ORT and write the triangle sum property like this, and then you will bring this same only. TOR is equivalent to 90 minus this ORT. So ORT we can write QRD as well. So that we have written already this is DRQ. So that we have written TOR. So we have proved SOR is equivalent to TOR. Got it? This angle is equivalent to this angle. Now we are going to take triangle. Now we are going to take triangle SOR, Indian triangle SOR, and in triangle TOR. In the example itself, they have given angle SRO is equivalent to angle TRO, right? And then we have proved just now these two angles are equal. So angle SOR is equivalent to angle TOR, and this line is common for both the triangles. So RO is equivalent to OR. So according to angle side angle congruency rule, we can prove these two are equal to each other by ASA rule. This angle equal to this angle and this angle equal to this angle. This base is same for both the triangles. So these two are equal. If these two triangles are congruency, then we can say SO is equivalent to OT by CPCT, because these two are corresponding parts of congruency triangle. So if this equidistance, see, this SO is distance from the center of the circle to the chord, and OT is distance from the center of the circle to the chord CD. If these two distances are equal, then we can say, according to theorem number 7, AB is equivalent to CD. Got it? Hence we have proved this theorem. Theorem number 7. The angle subtended by an arc at the center is double the angle subtended by it on any part of the circle. Here we have taken one arc AB. This arc subtended an angle at the center O and at any point on the circle as well. Here at C, this AB arc subtended an angle, and in the center as well the arc is subtended an angle. The relation between these two will be angle AOB will be double of angle ACB. Right. Now we need to prove this, how this angle will be double of this angle. We can write this equation as ACB. This angle will be half of this angle. Let's see. To prove that, first we need to draw a line from C to O. C to O, and then we have extended this line up to P. So now we have got two triangles AOC and BOC. We have got two triangles. Now we are going to use this triangle. We are going to use the exterior angle property of triangle. First we will take in triangle BOC, this exterior angle will be BOP. So BOP. Angle BOP is equivalent to exterior angle would be the sum of opposite interior angles. So the opposite interior angles are OCB and OBC. So OCB plus OBC. This is our first equation. In the next equation, next one is see, you can see this OC and OB both are radius, because B and C are lie on the circumference of the circle and O is the center of the circle. So we can say This is the isosceles triangle. In isosceles triangle, we know the angles opposite to equal sides are equal. So that OCB is equivalent to OBC. These two angles are equal to each other. Here, sum of these two angles are exterior angle of this triangle. So we can write here, instead of OBC, we can write OCB. So if we write OCB there, I will get BOP is equivalent to 2OCB. So because I am going to write OCB instead of OBC. Got it? Because these two angles are equal. So this is our second equation. Similarly, if you take in triangle ACO, the exterior angle is AOP. So angle AOP is equivalent to angle OCA plus angle OAC. Right. Here also you can see OC and OA both are radius of the circle. If these two sides are equal in this triangle, then we can say AOC also equilateral triangle and this two angle will be equal to each other. So I can write OCA instead of OAC. So if we do like that, I will get 2OCA because these two angles are equal to each other. So this is my third equation. What I am going to do now, we are going to add these two angles because we need AOB. Okay, if we add AOP plus BOP, we will get AOB. So I am going to add these two equation, angle BOP plus angle AOP. Angle BOP is equivalent to 2 angle OCB plus angle AOP is equivalent to 2 OCA. 2 OCA. Now we need to take 2 outside because both the term 2 is common. So if you take 2 outside, we will get OCB plus OCA, right? OCB plus OCA. This BOP plus AOP both is angle AOB. So I can write AOB. Angle AOB is equivalent to 2 into OCB plus OCA. You can see OCB plus OCA both are this whole angle. So I can write OCB plus OCA as ACB. So that AOB is equivalent to 2ACB. Hence we have proved this one. So that the angle subtended by an arc at the center will be double of the angle subtended by the same arc at any point on the circle. Got it? Hence we have proved. From this equation we can bring this. Half of this angle would be half of AOB. That's it. Let's move on to next theorem. Theorem number 9. Angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Here we have taken AB is a chord. So this is the minor segment. formed by an arc, minor arc AB and the chord AB, and this is the major segment formed by the major arc AB and the chord AB. So that this is minor segment, this is major segment. Here angles in the same segments are equal. That means ACB, this ACB and ADB both are lie in the major segment. The theorem is angles in the same segments are equal. So these two angles are equal. We need to prove this. How we can prove? You can see this diagram. We know the angle subtended by an arc at the center will be double of the angle subtended at any point on the circle. We have learned this theorem. This is theorem number 7. According to theorem number 7, what is the equation? Angle AOB, angle AOB is equivalent to 2 angle ADB, isn't it? 2 angle ADB. Now forget this one, take this one. This angle also subtended by this arc at a point C. So we can write AOB is equivalent to 2 ACB, isn't it? 2 ACB. This both the angles are subtended by an arc AB, so that according to theorem number 7, I have written AOB is double of ADB and AOB is double of ACB. These two angles. Right. So now this is our equation. AOB is equivalent to 2ADB is equivalent to 2ACB. Now we need to cancel these two. If we cancel these two, what we will get? ADB is equivalent to ACB. Right. Now we have proved angle. If you draw a line here, what will happen? This is minor segment and this whole is major segment. In this major segment there are two angles. These two angles are equal to each other, hence we have proved. So that we are saying angles in the same segment will be equal to each other. Got it? Theorem number 8. Angle subtended by diameter on a circle is a right angle. Angle in a semicircle is a right angle. That means if the chord AB, we know diameter also a chord, that is the biggest chord of the circle. Here AB is a chord, that is the diameter of the circle. Now, so take center of the circle. This is the center of the circle O. Now, the angle in semicircle. This is the angle in semicircle. You know this one. This one is one semicircle and this one is one semicircle. We know diameter will divide the circle into two equal parts. This is one part of the circle and this is another part of the circle. So ACB lies in the semicircle. Got it? So how we can prove this? We know, already we know the chord subtended an angle at the center will be double of this angle subtended at any point on the angle. You can take the theorem number 7. If this AOB, according to the theorem number 7, what is our equation? AOB. We know straight line will make 180 degree, so AOB is equivalent to 180 degree. According to theorem number 7, AOB is equivalent to double of angle subtended at any point on the circle. So ACB. AOB is equivalent to 2ACB. Got it? But we know here AOB is 180 degree. So we need to apply this value here. So which is equivalent to 2 angle ACB. If you bring this to this side, what you will get? ACB is equivalent to 180 upon 2 will be 90 degree. So we have proved this is 90 degree. So angle in a semicircle is a right angle. This can be here, anywhere. This C can be here and then you can join A and B, and this C can be here, you can join A and B. That angle formed by this chord will be right angle because the chord is a diameter and this circle is a semicircle. So angle in a semicircle would be 90 degree, right angle. Got it? Cyclic quadrilateral. What is cyclic quadrilateral? A quadrilateral is called a cyclic quadrilateral if all the four vertices lie on a circle. See, here we have taken one quadrilateral A, B, C, D. The quadrilateral vertices are lies on the circle. Vertices A, B, C, D. Four vertices are lie on the circumference of the circle. If the four vertices are lie on the circle, then we can say the given quadrilateral is a cyclic quadrilateral. The properties of cyclic quadrilateral is if you add opposite angles. If you add opposite angles of the quadrilateral, you will get 180 degree. That means angle A plus angle C, you will get 180 degree. In the same way, if you add angle B plus angle D, the sum will be 180 degree. So that the properties of the quadrilateral is the sum of either pair of opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral would be 180 degree. Got it? Suppose sometimes they won't give the circle, they will give some quadrilateral only. Okay. If you add opposite angles of the quadrilateral, if you add and the sum is 180 degree, then you can say that quadrilateral is cyclic quadrilateral. Got it? Here we are going to learn about the concyclic. What is concyclic? If all the points here A, B, C, D, all the points are lie on the circumference of the circle, then we can say those 4 points are concyclic. Here, if a line segment joining 2 points subtends equal angles at 2 other points lying on the same side of the line containing the line segment. The 4 points lie on a circle. Here we have taken a line segment, a chord AB. Then this chord for subtended an angle at a point C. Then we have joined these two lines. And at D, we have joined the chord AB, and this AB formed an angle at D, this ADB. These two angles are same. We know angles in the same segments are equal. Now you can see A, B, C, D all are lie on the circumference of the circle. Then we can say this is the concyclic. This triangle also called, here we have two triangles. ACB and ADB. These two triangles are concyclic because all the vertices of this triangles are lie on the circumference of the circle. If the vertices are lie on the circle, then we can say that is the concyclic triangle. Got it? For exercise problems, please check the link in the description box.